Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is the Member of Parliament for Beaconsfield. As well as representing his local constituents, he is also the Shadow Attorney General and has a front bench role in criminal justice, constitutional and ethnic diversity affairs. Could I invite Dominic Grieve MP to address us?
Good evening and ASALAMO ALAIKUM. Your Holiness, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me once again to be here at the Bahafutul Mosque this evening. It's a place which over the last 5 or 6 years, I think time seems to pass very quickly, I seem to have become accustomed to visiting, and always to your kind hospitality. It is indeed a very important event that there should be this peace seminar taking place today, and of course taking place on this anniversary of the 100th anniversary of the setting up of your caliphate. Bringing people together to exchange ideas is of course the very thing which has taken humanity from the time when the first sparks were struck to light the first fire to where we are today. It is our ability to communicate with each other which is at the root of our humanity and also of our ability to progress and develop. By bringing people together, we moderate, I think it's the right word, we moderate our behaviour, because the exchanges of ideas enable us to understand each other better. My experience, certainly doing diversity work, and I agree entirely with Siobhan about this, is that the firmer individuals are in their own identity, and the better they understand where they came from and where they are in the world we live in, the easier, in fact, they find it to relate to people with separate identities. But too often in the world there seem to be two phenomena with which we're confronted. The first is that there are individuals who have lost their identity, lost that sense of perspective of how they come to be where they are and where their place is. Many people in this country have done so, in my own experience, indigenous Britons. And that's one of the reasons why they then create wholly artificial histories and stories relating to themselves, which are often inimical to others. And of course the same thing can happen with those who, having come to this country, third or fourth generation immigrants, suddenly create visions of their own religion which may be very hostile to others. And the trouble is, extremists never seem to be bothered by the regulations or restrictions or inhibitions on anybody else. And those people who are of a moderate disposition all too often hesitate about expressing their own views or exchanging ideas. And so as a result, we end up with the extremists having the loudest voices and those of moderate ideas being the hesitant ones who stay silent. Now this seminar, I'm sure, will address some of those issues, but not just because it's being done here, but because actually the Ahmadiyya community is doing it on a national scale. Your Holiness, one of the things that has given me the greatest pleasure in the last 6 months was the discovery and the invitation to go to 2 of my villages in my constituency, not places at all with Muslim communities or population, in Denham and Ivor, and to discover that Ahmadiyyas had come out from Hillingdon to have, if I may put it almost like miniature evenings of the kind we're having here, to explain what Islam was about, having made contact with the local vicar, the parochial church council, and other interested people and groups who came together for that purpose. So these small building blocks, I think, as much as the big gestures which will actually create the cohesive society that we all seek, and above all enable us all to increase in wisdom by the exchanges of views which take place in it. So I wish this community, which has been making such an enormous contribution to our national life, both in terms of the meetings we have here, like the one this evening, but also in terms of the contributions of the individuals in our national life. I wish the Ahmadiyya community all blessings and success, and I hope this evening will be as productive as the previous ones that have taken place, and usher in a year which for the community is clearly going to be very important, but for us as British citizens is also important in bringing us all together. Thank you very much.